Company won't pay for lunch? Home it is then. A few years back I worked at a small IT security reseller, consulting place that tried like hell to nickel and dime everyone. I had a customer that was a bit over 1.5 hours away, and the rule was you had to be working more than 2 hours away from your home city to have meals covered. I initiated some malicious compliance and drove back home for lunch the 3 days I had to be on site at that customer. When I turned in my expense report for mileage, I got called into the office where I explained that their reason there were 2 round trips was that I was just following policy not to eat out and charge that back since I was not 2 hours out. That policy got changed real fast as the mileage was around $250 at that time and the customer wasn't happy. You can also guess why I said it was a short stint there. That place tried to nickel and dime employees and customers alike. I don't know how they stayed in business. I remember working for a company that at that time had a big party in HQ for their 80-year anniversary. All remote employees were told to go have lunch with their spouse and submit the expense report for it. I took my SO to a fancy place for lunch and turned in my $80 receipt. Controller called me a week later to tell me that the lunch was over the $13 budgeted amount and I was not going to be reimbursed for it. In no uncertain terms I told that guy to go ahead and do it. But I needed an explanatory letter as to how my personal celebration expense ratio was comparable to the actual expenses spent in HQ for the same celebratory activities. How much did they spend per person? He was going to look into it. I was reimbursed fully. Clarification. Budget is $13 for employee lunch when you are doing whatever and need to eat lunch, like sales calls or a service call. Then it's okay to use up to $13. And my counterpoint was, it's not a burger between sales calls, it's a celebration of the company continued success and we can enjoy ourselves a little bit and splurge on an unusual lunch with a loved one in the company. We'll pay for it because if you have great party on the company dime, so will I. And you are paying for my SO too because I eat alone enough in my travels and I don't need another King burger by myself, you cheapskate. I like how a significant amount are disapproving of your methods. But it worked out for you and it changed the policy. Therefore, in theory, improving things for other employees. Glad it worked out for you. Reminds me of one place I worked for. We used to be able to claim lunch if the site was over an hour away. They changed this policy to you could only claim meals if you stayed overnight. Cue my malicious compliance. I began to pack an overnight bag and I stayed overnight at every site that was over an hour away. My expenses went up accordingly, and when my manager asked me about it, I told them I was always exhausted and didn't feel fit to drive home. Not only did I claim lunch, but I also claimed dinner, the hotel room and breakfast the next day. I told the other guys in the office what I was doing, and pretty soon, everyone was doing it. Some guys would drive home even if they booked a hotel room. In a couple of months, the company reverted back to their old policy. Moved overseas. If I'm not going into my designated office to work, I am expected to take a rental car. Going to a site 5 miles in the other direction? Rental car for the day. Worked for a company and had to travel out of town quite often. Usually we were allowed 2 drinks with dinner. No big deal. One day a coworker and I were getting ready to head out to a site again and the PM informs us, per company policy, drinks were to only be 1 line item on the receipts. Irritated that we were. We drove the 7 hours to the site. Getting there the night before. Found a place to eat. A small restaurant per bar. Promptly each ordered a pitcher of beer. Since it was 1 line item, we were there for 2 weeks. Always ordered the most we could get in 1 line item. Be it a bucket of beers. pitchers. Or if the place didn't do either, the most expensive beer on the menu. Thankfully the PM was a good dude, all things considered, and got a nice chuckle out of it. You followed the company policy. That place tried to nickel and dime employees and customers alike. I don't know how they stayed in business. Seem to have answered your own question there. Wouldn't that also mean you were taking like 3.5 to 4 hour lunch breaks? I'm surprised the company didn't say that was personal travel, as it was during your break time. MSPs can be the worst. God, I love French work law. The bootlickers defending your old employer or really showing their true colors. Lol, clearly they made it to the wrong sub-tiers of joy. Couldn't you drive slower and turn the 1.5 hour trip into 2 hours? You should have qualified the compliance first by saying you requested a meal allowance and were denied. The way this is written doesn't indicate MC. Rather sneaky loophole finding. Well done to get it approved though, lol. I thought they would have docked you 3 hours pay for traveling to and from lunch, lol. So we need letter of the law compliance? I think that's covered most times by MC. Are people confused because OP didn't expense lunch out of policy? Get ordered to comply with policy. Then comply and cost the company $. Then company sees their stupid ways and all is well. OP just cut out the intermediate steps. I don't understand why you didn't bring a lunch with you. You get to expense the miles driving to the site. And presumably you were either going to buy yourself lunch or bring one from home. Anyway, if you were in the office, how is this malicious compliance? Seems like a lot of effort for a lot of nothing. Are you incapable of packing a lunch? I've never expected to be given mileage paid for the drive to any meal. I don't log it, nor would anyone else I know. Edit. I guess OP's outlook on work lunch explains it. If a company wants me to work out of town, I should not have to lower my standard of living in my way, shape, or form. Just pack a lunch like 90% of the working world. This is why businesses are so picky who they hire. Anyone with an ounce of integrity and a lick of sense would have taken lunch with them. Yeah, sure. You stuck it to them. Pretty sure if you ever had a business and employees, you'd be rolling your eyes at this. So pack a lunch? Or just be an adult and spend your own money. I don't really see how it's malicious compliance that you wasted so many extra hours of your own time rather than just packing or buying a lunch out of pocket. Seems like a very weird rule to choose to oppose.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.